tell you that. And see, for simple people, they come. They always came with a prayer, and the prayer was answered. And anyone who came into his presence, Bhagwan would smile, sometimes pat on their back and say, "My father blesses you." And mere presence, there was a very strong, intense presence about him, which was enough to satisfy people who came to him. He did not explicitly say, "I bless you." He would simply say Ram Ram or a pat on the back. And then people instantly felt some peace and joy and a flow of love. And I am sure the most ignorant man also felt very happy in his presence, peaceful and happy in his presence. Because his presence was so strong, so intense, so explicitly beautiful. And everyone was affected by that in some way or the other. But I had seen time after time people, even for a second or two, staying in his presence, going out happily.
Can we say that the presence was just limited to his form or his body, or it was beyond his body?
It was at once the body and beyond. For people who were physical, it all depends upon at what level you came and with what thought you came. And accordingly, the response from Bhagwan was also different. And certainly nobody could mistake him for a body, for a mere human being like us. There was something about him which kept expressing itself beyond words. One could only feel it deeply inside. There was always this happiness. And after we were with him for some time, he would say, this beggar leaves you now. And then we would get up happily and filled with the joy of his presence. We would have just gone down the steps of his house, and suddenly again there would be a longing to be back. There was a longing, sometimes unbearable, that you feel like running back to him, only to face a closed door, because he would leave you and then close the door firmly behind you so that you wouldn't come back, because he always knew. There was such divine magnetism about him, which drew people. People didn't even know why they came to him. Of course, many came with their problems, and they felt relieved that they left him. Many people could feel tangibly his grace flowing, his love flowing to them. So there are stories and stories and stories of how he helped people, guided people, and protected people. And when anybody entered his presence, he always knew everything about their past, present, and future. Sometimes he would sit and talk with them, drawing every detail of their problem. And sometimes he wouldn't talk at all. He would go into silence and people would sit and they wouldn't be given a chance even to explain. But both the times, the problems would be solved. And they would always come back and tell him. They would come back to express their gratitude. So this I have seen. And as soon as somebody walked into his presence, he would just look at them, with his, his looks. His look was very sharp, penetrating. And then he would pull out a cigarette. Sometimes he would smoke fully, sometimes only 3/4, sometimes only half. And there were times I had seen him, very rare times, to just light it and put out immediately. So he had his own calculations. Nobody could even guess what he was doing, what he was after, in which way he was doing it. But all felt very happy and relieved.